Hello, good evening. Twin Minds here. It has been a very long time to the point where I am apparently talking to myself again. Shut up, me. There we are. So, I'm finally back from my long project work. Hi, Mackenzie. Hi. Been a while. Sorry. But I am alive. I essentially had a day off. Basically slept through half of it. It's good to be back. Good to be back. So, the farm has progressed a little bit while I've been struggling. Howdy Demos, howdy Sparkles. I did survive it. I did survive it. Minor issues here and there, and by minor issues I mean a large amount of waiting for stuff to happen. Minor issue after the fact, but we got it corrected, and it's all good. So far, all of the users who are using my program are happy with it. Happy that it is working and working quickly. So, I am happy then, and that's a whole lot of stress off my mind. So, now that that stress is done, I will be a lot more sane-ish going forward. So yeah, as I mentioned, the farm has been progressing. No one on Mixer yet. In fact, Demos usually is on Mixer, but decided to be on Twitch this time. So, I did do my my big harvest that was in progress as of the end of the last stream. So that happened. And then on top of that, I replanted 4 and reharvested 4. So I've been doing a lot while I was away. Demos, I think that issue's fixed if you do prefer Mixer. That cross-stream issue appears to be fixed. I can see Twitch chat in the Mixer chat currently, so totally up to you on that one. So 4 has been reharvested. It's all currently stored in the Railroad Silo West up here. And we got a grand total of... Okay, maybe that's not a good grand total because we also harvested the other fields as well. It was 98,000 liters, I believe, of soybeans. So it was a pretty significant harvest. The corn, in all total, grand total sold for... I forgot the number. I think it was 268,000. So got quite a bit of chunk out of corn from the first harvest, which is great. There is no one chatting yet in Mixer, at least. You don't see anyone in Twitch either, Mackenzie? No chat anywhere. Well, that's interesting. It says Demos left a message on my video. I'm not entirely sure how to check that, actually. I forgot that feature existed on Twitch. Demos, what did you do? Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. Now you can see it. That's good. That's good. Yeah, it must have been just a wonky issue on Twitch's side. Not showing the chat for whatever reason. So, I also have been doing a ton of contracts. Just a ton. Absolute insanity. Yes, Demos, FTL. At least as FTL as Restream can manage. It's a little bit slower than usual FTL, but not by much. It is faster than Twitch, which is odd because Twitch is also on the low latency mode, so... Shrug? Uh-oh, I saw pizza, which means you threw a sticker at me. Pizza stickers. Alright. So, lots of jobs. Lots and lots of contracts. We currently have only 3 active and 2 completed. We previously had 5 more going earlier. In fact, time to take this one as well. That one too. Yep, just right in the cache. So I do have a thing that I need to do right away because I have this active field 9 baling going. And I have started acquiring all the equipment to do that. So there are 2 pieces of equipment that I need to get before we buy anything else. So first things first, I want to get you guys talking about the baling wrapping colors. So I'm going to need a bale wrapper, and the color available options are white, black, pink, and green. So I want to get you guys talking about colors, get yourselves ideas of what colors we should get, while I go get the other thing, which is the auto stacker, so I can actually pick up all these damn bales. I'm going to go ahead and straight up buy this because I need it. Mackenzie's vote is for pink. I know, the big pink marshmallows, exactly. There is no yellow. I gave you the colors. FTL does not interfere with you being able to hear what I am saying, sir. Now the other possibility, later state perhaps, is this one can wrap and bale at the same time. It's going to be a bit slower going overall, but it will do both in one pass. They are round bales, which means they have to get round bale stacking process, but that's a thing I could do later. But for right now, I'm just going with the regular old square bales. No demos. No demos. White, black, pink, green. And the pink and green are both very pastel colors. Alright, so where's all of my vehicles? So this one is supposedly done on 21. Did it actually do the thing? Looks like it did the thing, and Shar might have actually gone through and cleaned it up as well. Because last I looked at this one, it was atrocious. So that's good. Sure did, because you rock, indeed. Alright, where is this? This is done with 6, right? Yes, so let's just turn this thing back around and do 12. Our fields new fertilizer, okay. Did they not? I thought I saw 21 as fertilized already. Yeah, 21 got fertilized as part of the seeding, so that one just got done. 15 probably could use a re-fertilizer. That was bad angles. Bad angles, but close enough. So we have 2 votes for pink, Mackenzie and Shar. I don't think we have all that many others out there, but if you're out there and have an opinion, by all means share. 2 votes for pink and 1 vote for black so far. And I will tell you that my vote is swinging between pink and black personally, so I'm not sure yet, but I could definitely sway that one way or the other. Alright, so 12 is going. Hello, Zyron, welcome. Okay, so 5 harvest is a thing. Looks like Char's on that. Good. Zyron, before you listen to what Demos has to say, how about you take a look at what we're actually voting on. We're voting on the color of the wrapped bales. And the option is this wrap color here: white, black, pink, or green, which is a very pastel color. Alright, so 12 is good. That's good. That's good. Now, another thing to think on while we wait for the color choice vote is I would like to buy one or more large objects. And of those things, I'm pretty sure one of them needs to be a tractor. But also, we need things like seeders and cultivators and all that fun stuff. So, I think we had already kind of come to a decision on the tractor before. And it was large tractor and probably the Valtra. Although that JCB is still calling to me at 70 mph. kph, sorry. So, things. Shara's trying to sell the point of black may be a little bit hard to see on the fresh dirt fields. That is true. It is not going to stand out like a sore thumb like the white or pink would. I'm going to have to veto the green right now. I just don't like that color, honestly. It's way too pastel-y green to me. If it were like a sharper, like bright green color, I probably would lean more towards it, but they're very, very light colors. How about I give you a yes? And say also that I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, also, I did make a change, and this was recommended to me by a couple different people. At the top of my stream, you will see my donation goal has changed. Previously, the donation goal was $10, because I just wanted to see about actually getting donations. However, I decided that with the recommendation of a couple others that I would increase that donation goal, and it is now set at $600, which is actually, the description is go halvesies on a new PC, because my PC is aging and it's starting to show its wear a little bit in the stream quality as well as other aspects of gaming, and I figure if anyone decides to pitch in, that will go straight towards getting a new PC. I haven't quite decided on the parts yet, but I have gotten a general gist of how much I want to do. What would I be upgrading first is the big challenge, because my PC is currently, the motherboard is essentially at its limits, so I can't do anything else to it. So if I'm going to upgrade, I'm going to have to do the motherboard, the CPU, and the RAM all at one time. The GPU is already 1080, which is perfectly fine for the foreseeable future, so I don't need to update that, but I do need the rest of the package. So between RAM, motherboard, and CPU, plus a replacement power supply, probably going to run in the neighborhood of 1200 just to get a really good CPU that's going to last me a while. Oh noes! Anonymous just tipped $15. Someone is excited for things. I am also excited for things. Thank you very much, Anonymous. I've always felt a little bit awkward about asking for money. because I've never been hurting for money personally. But also, I realize that we're all here doing this together, and you know, if you're willing to chip in, I'm also willing to chip in, which is why I went straight for the Go Habsies on a new PC, because I will happily spend as much as anyone is willing to give and match that donation to help the whole stream situation grow. CPUs I'm looking at, an i9, I think it's the 9900K, I think it is the Intel option. I think it's a 6 or an 8 core. It's pretty much the biggest new hotness right now. And then there's also a new Ryzen. I'm not very up on the AMD models personally. It's been a while since I've done AMD CPU. But there's a Ryzen that's in the neighborhood of 8 cores and also pretty good. So either of those, in all honesty, is kind of where I'm leaning. I usually lean towards the Intel because they have a bit of a reputation for longevity. And if I'm going to drop this much money on a PC, I'm definitely going to aim towards it lasting longer. So the i9, I think it's the 9900K, is where I'm leaning currently, and that's, I think that one's $600 alone, if not more. I forgot the last time I looked at it. Nabara-chan, welcome. Yes, the work project was a little bit of a nightmare, but it was good and it's done, which is the big key. So yes, I'm back. I'm rested. I'm alive. Alive is a good thing. Let's go ahead and grab that contract as well, because I happen to be right here. Actually, I do need to go get more fertilizer, so let's go do that. Navarro-chan, you might have the final vote here if you want me to give you the rundown on what we're voting on. Just about to buy a bale wrapper. Demos is already jumping on the black before I even finish my sentence. So we're doing the bale wrapper to wrap the hay bales, or the grass bales. And the current choice of colors is, let me get to it. Current choice of colors is white, black, pink, and green. And currently it's 2 pinks and 2 blacks for the votes. Demos is just straight up saying ignore me. And Char's recommendation was to not go with black because it could potentially be harder to see on the dirt. We've got a pink. Demos, I think you got outvoted. Alright, so let me go ahead and buy that now. Bale wrapper, foil color, pink. You did try. Black on black dirt at night? Yeah, you are correct. Those bales would definitely be missed. No, Mackenzie, not messing around. Usually when I do a PC upgrade, I go as all out as I can reasonably afford so that I don't have to do it very often. And it may be the 9700K. I did not look very thoroughly at the model numbers, so, but I will be revisiting that and picking a reasonable answer. So I'm not going to drop $1,500 on a CPU, for example, but I will buy the best that I can reasonably afford. All right, so fertilizer. Probably should be going the other route of the big bags, but these are much easier to work with. Also, I realize I still can't drive this damn thing, but that's fine. But yeah, I will happily take tips and pointers for building PC as well. It has been a while since I have done it. Usually, it's so far in between usually that I have to re-inform myself of all the current hardware trends. So I think that's kind of where I'm at right now as well, is I'll just have to redo all of my research. I believe that DDR5 is coming somewhat in the near future, but I don't think it's going to be near enough. Yeah, I pretty much had the most expensive part done. This was actually thanks to work, oddly enough. I got the 1080 Ti, and the only reason I even went that high was because at work we do have a bit of a rewards point program. And I had been collecting it for damn near 10 years, not really wanting to pay attention to it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I need a new GPU, let's see how much this is worth. Turns out I had 900 bucks in reward points saved up, so it's pretty much perfect. Let me do 13 as well, right? Yeah, 13. Whoa. Yeah, and I've heard good things about the upcoming Ryzen line, so I'm curious. I'm curious how well they're going to do, first off, and also I'm curious what their prices are going to be. Like, if they're going to be reasonably priced and smoking the i9s out of the water, then I'll happily try it. It's been a long time since I've done an AMD CPU, though. They've been kind of out of contention for quite some time, but I know the newest Ryzens have started to pick up again. I mean, I might as well go with the 8 cores if I can. If the new Ryzen coming is a 16 core, great. Be happy with that. But I mean, currently I'm on quad core, so anything more than 4 is probably going to be a boost to what I've got. But again, I would like to future-proof myself. So I mean, if there's a reasonable 32 core CPU. Sure, sign me up. But I seriously doubt there's going to be a reasonable 32-core CPU. Whew, the glare in that thing is a little bit crazy. Alright, what other jobs need doing? Yeah, it'd be fine. It'd be fine. So we got F in the works, we got J in the works. We got Cat making whining noises. Hello, Cat. We do need to work on Field 4, honestly. Field 4 has not been redone since we just finished a harvest today. Hello, Cat. Hello, Cat. Hello, Cat. Actually, that's not bad at all. I didn't realize we had reasonably priced 16-core CPUs currently. What are we putting in for? That is a solid question. Let me take a look at the prices currently. Not that the prices are gonna sit still by the time we get there, but just for the heck of it, can we plant either corn or sunflowers with our current seeder? I don't recall exactly. You're just the help. Okay. Okay. Let me take a look. Let me take a look. Kitty. So cedar. Current cedar is this one. It cannot do sunflowers. Okay. I don't think any of the regular cedars can do sunflowers. I think you need an actual planter for that. So the planters are these buggers here. You vote corn? Okay. Any particular reason other than you like corn? Yes, kitty. Kitty. I mean, this kind of leads back to the potential purchases that we need to make. If we want to start planting corn, sunflowers, or the root vegetables, we'll need a planter instead of a regular cedar. At which point we will also need a cultivator, like so. So how's about... I heard a boom. What was boom? 5 is done. Hooray! 5 is done. So Nabara-chan votes corn. Shar, you said you mentioned liking corn as well. So we can do corn. If we do corn, though, we need a couple extra pieces of equipment that we don't have. And in fact, I'm probably going to want a new piece of equipment anyway, just because their current seeder is not exactly fit for large work. What's the 1950X? Is that a Ryzen model? I'm not familiar with the Ryzen model numbers all that much. Okay, that's what I kind of figured. But if July is the next Ryzen line coming, then kind of want to wait to see what's coming down the pipe for that. I mean, granted, if the new Ryzens come out, the old Ryzens should drop a little bit in price, which might make it a little bit more reasonable. But again, going all out wherever possible. I need to let this finish. How is that going? Ah, it's going. It's going. F is going. 8 needs to be fertilized at some point when 13 is done. Alright, so first off, before I do anything else, we need a new tractor. Bottom line, we need a new tractor. And it needs to be relatively powerful if we're going to do some of these things, like bigger cultivators, for example. This is probably the biggest that we can do with even a medium to big size tractor. Or these all require 500 horsepower to manage. The seeder, the planter, for example, that we wanted to look at. Biggest one requires 300 horsepower, so that's not too bad. So, one other thing I wanted to look at was... Okay. 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 So, tractors. Will I stream tomorrow? I will say almost guaranteed yes, assuming I don't, like, pass out inappropriately. Silage, not soon. Because remember, silage I can't do until I buy the biogas plant at more than I currently have. $769,000 just to buy the biogas plant. Could get it fermenting without buying this, but I won't be able to sell it without buying that thing. So, thinking. Yes. So if we go to tractors, large tractors, I did download Big Bud. Kind of tempted to use Big Bud in all honesty, because Big Bud's beefy. I'm a little bit concerned by the fact that Big Bud is cheap though. It's 400,000 for 1,100 horsepower. Whereas all of these are in the neighborhood of 450 to 500 horsepower for more so than that. So, kind of feel like Big Bud is a little bit underpriced. So I might hold off on that a little bit. But we do have that as an option. If we're going to do some of the biggest cultivators, we really need one of these really beefy tractors. Either the Challenger or going as far up as the big quad track case. It does only go 30 kph, you're right, it is very slow. And if I remember right, there's something about the hitch on the back. I believe, yeah, it doesn't have a 3-point hitch. And because of that, it kind of limits what it's capable of pulling. And it doesn't have any hitches on the front. So without a 3-point hitch, I mean, I think it can do some of the biggest cultivators because none of those require a 3-point hitch. They're just drag along. It just limits what else it can potentially pull. Like this one, I think, for example, requires a 3-point. But this one does not. Get mod tractors? I did. So I downloaded the Dutzfar medium tractor in case I wanted to go that route, as well as the Lamborghini because it's a freaking Lamborghini. Figured that might be kind of neat to play with at some point. I don't think I got any small. No, did not. There's nothing overly remarkable about these tractors, just variety. So for large tractors, let's see, if we wanted to go with the Valtryek, what can this go up to? This can go up to 400 horsepower. And it probably could barely drag along one of those bigger cultivators, but I wouldn't trust it to do that. The alternate is that we don't get one of the big ass cultivators and just go with, say, this one for example, at an 8-meter width. And just leave it at that for now, and then upgrade later. Kind of really hoping for the 24-meter width, though. You're voting the 24-meter? Tacos! Oh. Right. Right. She threw tacos at me to let me know that I needed to do things. Alright, so this can go over to field 8, get that moving. Ooh, really warm. Turns out having a heater pointed at you is warm. Go figure. So, thoughts on tractor. Mackenzie's voting the 24 meter, which means we need to buy a big-ass tractor. Which means we're not going to get the Valtra right away, if that's going to be the case. Because the Valtra was kind of our early access into the large tractors. But if we need 500 horsepower, then we're going to have to go something a little bit bigger than that. We also have some cultivating jobs to do if we wanted to make use of that cultivator right away. I love this $400 harvesting job. It's like, yeah, that's totally worth it. Absolutely worth it right there. So of the tractors that can do the 500 horsepowers, we've got Big Bud, obviously. We've got the Case. We've got Fent. And from watching Daggerwind do his thing, Fent is essentially the European version of the Challenger. So it kind of would be a wash at that point. I think they're both basically the same. And then we also have this Challenger, which is articulated, which I kind of like. I kind of like the articulated tractors. And then this one I think can go up to 500. Yes, it can. And I think that pretty much cuts it as far as what can go up to 500 horsepowers. This one can't even be upgraded. That's awesome. And the Vulture can only go up to 400. This deer can... That's this one, this button. 420. Okay. So our options pretty much are starting at this T9, which, by the way, we'd need to upgrade to cost about 440,000. This Challenger can boost up a little bit. In fact, this Challenger can go up really high if we wanted it to. 646 is the max. This one can go up to 646 as well. And if I had to pick, I'd probably go with the articulated. I'm not sure. Honestly, not sure. Kind of like both of them. Or the big red Case, which can actually go up to 692. So, any thoughts and recommendations on tractors? Char like horsepower, that is all. Got it. Understood. I mean, if Char like horsepower and that is all, then Big Bud is the answer to that. But kind of was hoping for something at least a little bit more utilitarian that we could spread around. But if I look at this, this does not require a 3-point either. So even the top tier Cedar doesn't require a 3-point and can be pulled by Big Bud. Good to know. Probably not going to be able to get the top tier Cedar at the moment, but good to know it's an option. All right, so we do have a solid vote for this 24 meter, and I am perfectly happy doing that. That part I don't have a problem with. The planters are a thing. And that's about 300 or so thousand between the planter and the big cultivator, which then drops us kind of below the ability to buy a good tractor. So we're going to have to space that out a little bit. We do have a little bit coming in with the contracts as well, but not quite that much. Kind of leaning towards this one. Because it's got the horsepower, and it can be upgraded to even more horsepower if needed. And it can be upgraded to beefier tires and whatnot as needed. And this one is also in the running. And it can also be upgraded pretty significantly. Kind of like the case quad track. Everyone good with the case quad track? So Big Bud is up an option. Case quad track. Fent, aka Challenger. Challenger, aka Fent. And then the articulated quad wheel Challenger. Zero difference between the Fent and the Challenger except for a slight difference in the fuel tank size. Other than that, they have the same 492 horsepower, can go up to 646, and they both have the same interesting different track options. Because Fent and Challenger are apparently the same thing, going under different brands depending on what side of the ocean you're on. And now between these two, the difference is 11 horsepower win on the Challenger and can upgrade to 646 or 692. So ultimately the quad track can go up a little bit higher in horsepower if needed. Colors are not selectable. The only tractor that can select colors, as far as I'm aware, is the Valtra, which is a lower tier heavy engine or heavy tractor. I know. Heavy duty upgrade engine costs. I am aware. So Demos votes the Fent. Why are you voting the Fent? You can go up to 646 and it can do this weird tread thing that doesn't appear to matter all that much. Otherwise, the quad track has the highest overall possible upgrade, short of the Big Bud, which is just starts off ridiculously big. You like the dual treads better? Hmm. Okay. We have a vote for the Fent. Mackenzie, I can't quite tell where your vote lies. Are you voting the MT900E? And I'm kind of personally leaning towards the quad track just because of the innate 525 horsepower, which already puts it above the others without having to buy an upgrade. Except for this one, which has 536 and like the quad track. And this most likely will not be the last tractor we buy, by the way. Not at the moment, but not the last tractor we buy, I think, overall. Alright, we're going quad track. Alright, so that got bought. And then we're going to buy the big old cultivator, I think. And that puts us down to 124,000. So, definitely basically broke. Alright, let's get this over to field 4 and get that moving. Biggest challenge with this thing, though, getting it there. Because the traffic does not exactly appreciate large things coming through. As is going to be evidenced by this guy right there. Alright, quad track. Ooh, does this fit across that bridge? Well, only one way to find out. Just barely. Alright, spread the wings on this puppy and see what it looks like. That is a hell of a wingspan. Soup. Alright, let's get this thing cultivated. There we go. Now I'm curious what the expected working speed is on that cultivator, because we're hitting 10. Is it 10? 15. Which means that this tractor isn't even powerful enough technically to pull this thing at full speed. Which is amazing. Just amazing. Granted, I think we are going uphill a little bit, so that accounts for a little bit of that. That's nice. Okay, so that's going. That'll get field 4 prepped to get seeded. Then the next question is, what are we planting? And I know we kind of thought corn. If I do corn, I'm going to probably go with the biggest planter, and that's 129. Technically, can't afford it. But once we get one of those contracts finished, we'll be able to afford it, no problem. The other possibility is regular seeders, of which the top tier ones are really expensive. These two have to be used together, so the whole package is 450,000 roughly, something like that. These two used together at 300,000, and then we get a little bit lower in these categories. So yeah. Ultimately, we're probably going to need at least one of each if we're going to do a variety of crops. One of these-ish in this category to plant these crops, mostly the grains, and then one of these to plant the other stuff. So, yeah. Alright, what do we got for this? So soybeans. Soybeans are going up a little bit, but that's going to take a while. We do have the option of selling our soybeans right now at 28.55. I don't recall exactly what their prices are kind of expected to get up to. Let me see if I have a list here. Soybean. I think upwards of 3,500, which means we probably should wait. We could sell them right now, but we're not going to get nearly as much out of the deal. I just realized I didn't have YouTube loaded. There we go. There we go. So waiting on the soybeans is probably a good idea. We also have, we still have wheat, apparently. No, that's barley. That's oat. We're kind of planning on using some of those for potentially horses in the near future. but we could definitely sell some of that off anyway. Should we make this cultivator work itself off a little bit? Accept that. Accept that. We'll do 11 too. Alright, those will come over time. This is going to finish this off soon enough. Favorite color? You know, I like a whole bunch of colors. But I'm kind of leaning towards purples and teals. I think were kind of the colors I was aiming for with the channel, if I could figure out how I could fit them together nicely. But I do have a couple hex codes saved. So let me throw those in Discord for you. I know, the game is silent. No, no massive engine noises, etc. Those are a couple good colors. Those are kind of colors that I've got from my my stream overlay at the moment. Indigo is kind of a good color. It's kind of like an indigo-y purple color. Not sure those count as favorite, but I do like them. I have plenty of favorite colors. My ultimate favorite color, oddly enough, is LED blue. Specifically the bright glowing blue that comes from blue LEDs. Which is really hard to get in any other form. Let's check out the inside of this thing. It's kind of light, or kind of dark, so can't really see all of it. But we have what looks to be the standard LCD. Otherwise, it's fairly generic in here. This reminds me I should be doing something else while this is happening, because I did get my wrapper, so I need to go wrap those bales that I've had sitting around. This is still going on 8, but it's almost done. See? It's the same LCD. Kind of even the same control console. How much is left on 8 for lies? 96%? Alright, well, we'll stick it out here. And then I'll steal this tractor for wrapping bales. God, I'm failing at the whole turning around concept. You good? Nah, you're not good. I think it lost its mind here for a moment. Here, let me take over. clearly it doesn't know what it's doing anymore. Odd. It does the whole thing fine, and the moment I go look at it to see how close it is till done, then it decides that it doesn't know how to work anymore. I did forget to do a thing, though. I forgot to do a thing. Anyone who's out there who hasn't filled out the survey for the future of the farming simulator, go ahead and fill that out on the Discord channel. I meant to make that available as a regular chat pop-up thing, but I forgot. Naughty me. But I just want to make sure everyone has a voice in what's going on with the channel next. It is a couple lines up in the announcements channel. It was posted up there along with the last couple videos. It's a SurveyMonkey link. Ah, 8 fertilizing is done. Okay. So, 8 fertilizing. Done. Okay, go ahead and park this over by the other fertilizer. No, buddy. I'm going first. Me first. It's funny, despite the giant width on that thing, it's still only halfway done on field 4. I mean, granted, it's a hell of a lot faster than it would have been if I did it the other way. But still, it's amazing that it's still taking that long. Alright, so we are picking up the wrapper and start wrapping those bales in the pretty pink color. Unfortunately, because of night, of course, we can't really see it as well, but it's there. As soon as we get 4 planted, we can jack up the speed and see if we can get through night. I will check Discord in just a second, as soon as I can tab away without this thing crashing into a mountainside. There we go. Oh, snazzy. Very snazzy. That is a hell of a lot of color varieties. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. It's actually funny when you said when you asked about that in the channel or in the general. My first thought was something kind of similar to that. I think you nailed the style a little bit better than I had in my head. So I like it. As soon as I can figure out a specific color combo I like, I may end up stealing one of those. Granted, I don't think it would be considered stealing since you were throwing them in my Discord specifically to me, but still, thank you. Pretty, pretty pink. Pretty pink marshmallows. Now this is a thing I most likely will not do entirely on stream. Just because there's, I think, 50-ish bales here. Yeah, there's usually 48 to 50 bales here. And it's a lot of wrapping to do on a stream. But yes, they will definitely be Lucky Charms. I always thought the white round ones looked like marshmallows anyway. And since these are square with harder angles than Lucky Charms, is actually perfect because the general shape that you get out of Lucky Charm marshmallows is a little bit more hard and angular than you would get out of a regular, like, puff white marshmallow. So this is perfect. So when I'm doing this without streaming, and I'm doing it just on my own time, what I will typically do is I will bail one, and then, or I will wrap one, and as soon as I grab it, I will either jump to another machine or I'll tab out. So it takes me like 3 times as long to get this done because I'm not focusing on it, but yeah, it eventually gets done. So I will grab a bale like so, and immediately tab to another machine to get something else done. Fortunately, I don't have all that many machines to jump to at the moment. We ran out of jobs. Before stream, Char and I were going through jobs like mad. So we had 10 plus jobs active, and we were bouncing between those things like crazy. I will absolutely give you credit. Let me take a look at the last 2 you fixed. I like it. Still don't know what color combination I would want to use, but I do like the variety because that gives me something to look at. Awesome. I love it. Purple inside with teal outline. Let me take a look. That's that one. I don't know, I'm kind of liking them all for different reasons. Like, definitely just the standalone purple or teal with the transparent background has its own appeal for certain purposes. Kind of liking the colored background with the white logo, but also kind of liking the alternating. Oh, teal outline with a purple fill. Interesting, okay. That would be an interesting idea as well. Timos is already on it. A gif of all of them. Gotta pop out a seizure warning before I throw up my logo. How thick of an outline are you thinking? Get that, Demos? Actually, it's pretty easy to see these pink marshmallows even in the dark. I can see that no problem. Since you're in the creative mode, Demos, I'm still looking for an overall channel logo of some variety. I've had multiple ideas, but nothing's quite stuck yet. And, of course, I have no art skills to do it myself. I know Mackenzie's mentioned an idea before as well. But again, no art skills myself to do it. I've tried fairly hard, and I try to do something like T&M kind of overlaying a little bit, centered on top of each other. I got something kind of close to what I was thinking, but I couldn't quite get the color schemes just right. And that would just be for kind of simplistic, but also ideas related to both halves of brains doing things. And I wrote down Mackenzie's idea at some point, and I have to scroll up through my note to self section to find it. But yeah, just kind of looking for something unique to stand out a little bit. Because right now it's at least the YouTube channel is just generic, colorful, bluish neurons, kind of nifty. Hey, Polar Plays! Welcome. TT or TM? Because either of those could work depending on the usage. Yay. Also, I realize that I am not going in a good enough order at the moment. I'm going kind of starting at the middle and working my way out, which is a little bit weird. I mean, YouTube banner ultimately I will need eventually, but I'm more thinking like an actual logo to represent in the videos at some point, and potentially to change away from the OctoKitty as much as I like him, to have something that's more, I don't know, YouTube channel-ish. But yeah, kind of like the whole shebang of the bannery things that I would need. Icons, logos, color scheme is what I'm having a hard time with, because even the purple and teal, when overused, is a little bit too much, I think. So I don't want to have that out there all over the place, more as accents, but then I'd have to figure out how else to present it. saw one new message just pop in. Oh dear, bombs away. Oh dear, bombs away. Oh lordy. I saw bombs away and then I just saw it flood through repeatedly. It almost animated itself, actually, because of how quickly they came up. If you gif all those, it's going to be painful to look at. That'd be even more painful to look at because it'd be just tiny and flashing. See, I don't necessarily think it needs to look more techy, honestly, because a lot of the generic like tech logos that you see for either fictitious or otherwise, one of the common trends is very simple, solid shapes. Well, if you can art it, Mackenzie, by all means, give it a shot. Because I can't art it. I can't art worth a damn. I got as far as being able to put a purple filter over an existing brain icon that I found, and that's about as successful as I was able to get. You know, I said I wasn't going to bail this whole thing on stream, but kind of doing that, so might as well finish, I suppose. How am I doing with the other stuff? Really? Alright. Are you going to count yourself as done? You are counting yourself as done, even though we missed that section. Apparently I'm cultivating field 5. Ah, because it needed cultivating, that's why. Forgot about that. Ah, I see what happened. The weeds grew in while it was being cultivated. So let's recultivate, get those weeds out of there. Right, this thing doesn't like to turn that well with so much oomph to it. All right. So clearly, I need to figure out how to drive this thing. Son of a... Really? We're doing this? We're playing that game? We're apparently playing that game. I was trying to get rid of the extra weeds that grew in, and just as I was swiping over one of them, they were growing up again behind me. God damn it. Alright, I'm going to sit this thing here for a moment. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. We'll go take care of the ones over here that need to be done. Hello? Go forward and not get stuck on things, thank you. Alright, so 2 needs to be cultivated, as does 3. Be able to get these done fairly quickly. Looks like it hasn't grown up extra weeds on top of the ones that just spawned in, but I don't necessarily trust it at the moment. Whoops. Did not mean to run into that. I apparently have a bit of a mess of bales over here. That's fine. No, totally my fault. I did that one. Bales and coops, yes. I'm generally tidy when I can, but for whatever reason this field, when I was doing the windrowing, it just wasn't quite cutting it. I think I might want the other windrower. It's a little bit smaller width-wise, but it's a little bit easier to work with. Which is unfortunate, because that means I have to sell and rebuy the windrowing. But it's not the end of the world. Next, this bale can come with me this way. We have a couple more rows to do, I think. Alright, so G is not quite halfway done, but getting there. I'm assuming part of the delay is just turning around. It's not quite easy to turn around with that thing, so the helper is not any better at it. 7 looks like it's getting closer to done. Then we just have a bunch of cultivating to do. I don't care to do any of those. Okay. So many Lucky Charms out in the field. Are we still on Pretzel's Chill Station? I think we are. Yes, we are on the Chill Station. Shall we pop it up to something a little bit more oomphy? I said oomphy, not uncy. Although, probably one and the same on the station. That's fine. Alright, just about at the end of this one. That's good. This song has fake clapping. I could also go back to just pure random pretzel. I was trying to pick the theme stations. But we could also go back to just pure pretzel and see what comes out. I see that trailer is still being a pain in the butt. Yay, contract finished, and yet there's so much left to do. Okie dokie. Unfortunately, video game soundtracks tend to be copyrighted, so I can't. I know. Hell, I had a hard enough time finding a classical song that wasn't copyrighted. Because it wasn't copyrighted by the original author, of course, because they're all dead. But the specific orchestra that ends up performing it gets a copyright on it, and it just goes stupid from there. That could also be YouTube's copyright, or the content ID system, where just about anyone can pretty much claim a copyright on something. So it may or may not be legit, but it's a little bit predatory in the way that they do it. A lot of people will basically be copyright trolls. They'll either claim that they have a copyright on something, or they'll legitimately buy a copyright on a bunch of stuff just so that they can claim copyrights on people. Oh dear, bombs dropped. That's some busy stuff. I'm kind of digging the middle one, the transparentness, not the fills. I think maybe fewer gears and work in TM or something like that in there might work. I think there's only 2 more bales, or bale and a half here to do. Whoops, missed. This last one here is a hay bale, or a straw bale, so it's not going to be wrappable. But we do also have field 14. Finally did mow that, so we'll go over there and do that too. What are the prices on bales, by the way? Look. Silage is currently at 586, which is not that bad. 586 puts it at just over $2,000 per bale. And since we just did a whole bunch of bales, that's a whole bunch of cash. I don't know how many we've got in field 14 though. But that's purely ours. The one that we just did is the contract. And we get about 8 or 9 bales profit at the end of that. So 16 to 20,000, somewhere in there. Let me weasel my way into traffic here. Sorry guys, it's coming through. Don't mind me. Also, our trees on 14 have ticked up a little bit. So the ultimate question, and I think I already know the answer to this, is do we keep saving up for all the animals with the different materials or something or whatever, or do we just go straight for cash for now and then worry about the animals once we realize that we can actually afford them? And I'm personally kind of leaning towards sell off all of our excess stored stuff, which includes a whole bunch of bales that we had stored up and all that stuff, just to get cash flowing. Any thoughts from the peanut gallery out there? Get that cash, I understand. So the oats that we've got stored up, those actually could go to the port grain elevator. How many bales do we have here? We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 bales. Okay. So I think that's the count. A little bit hard to see them all. Okay, so let's do this quick. By the way, that navy does look really nice. So thank you all for the navy vote. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the oats. And I said port grain elevator on that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, the navy is definitely nice, especially with that that pewter color. Soybeans are all right. But I think I want to wait for soybeans to go up a little bit. Otherwise, we could take our barley to the port grain elevator as well. How well fed are our chickens, by the way? I don't have anything over at the chickens. How well fed are you, chickens? Ah, chicken noises. Right. I don't need to go over to the chickens to look at the chickens. The chickens are all really well fed. So they've got plenty of time for us to grow up more crops. So I think I will sell off what we've got. Just for funsies. There we go. And those are also going to the port grain elevator, I believe. Close enough. Hair difference between the two. Might as well go to the port grain elevator. Definitely on the right track, Demos, I think. Not so sure about that TM font in the middle, though. Something's off about that font. I'm not quite sure what it is. I don't know how to say the words that are coming out of my mouth. That might be it. Alright, let's see what we get out of the oats and the barley that we've been holding on to. So, just about 20 grand for the oats. And 12 grand for the barley. I didn't expect that much, so it was pretty good anyway. We're also holding on to a boatload of soybeans that I'm just waiting for the right price. And I suspect we're sitting on probably at least 300,000 worth of soybeans. But just gotta wait for that right price. In fact, based on the current pricing, we're sitting on $280,000 worth of soybeans. And if we can get that price up to 3,500, because we've got just about 100,000 soybeans, and it's based on 1,000 liters, so 3,500 would be 350,000, and I would much rather wait for that extra 60, 70,000. Down park you there. Let's see, did you finish 2? You did finish 2, so let's do 3. How do I actually reverse this thing? Okay, I can reverse it. I can't easily change its orientation though, so I'm just gonna go ahead and loop around. It's easier that way. I think it's got a hell of a second tier. On. Also on. And then brights. Okay, so apparently pulling this thing while unfolded is hard enough. Because it's not even technically down into the ground. But that's fine. I know. It's an amazing amount of cultivation. Missed that, but that's fine. That's contract work. Doesn't need to be perfect. Alright, so 3 is now cultivating. 7 is just about done. Now we need to go grab those bales for 9 and sell them off. And then 5 and 11 eventually need cultivating as well. Alright, so let's get to... back to here, finish wrapping field 14, I suppose. Shouldn't be too much longer, we only got 7 more, I think. The stub has been added. Yay. So, about that font, Demos. No, not Comic Sans. Not gonna do that to me. Okay. I at least appreciate the lack of Comic Sans consideration. Three more. Then we gotta pick them all up. Unfortunately, now that since this is 18, I think. Recount? 5, 10, 15, yeah, 18. That means it's 2 runs with the pickup, the auto stacker thing, since I can only do 16 at a time. But that's okay. That just means we're technically making more money. So, bales are still static, I suspect. Yeah, bales are still static at 586. It's not the highest price I've seen, but it's still pretty good. I think it's good enough. Yeah, so Field 7, actually, what happened there is Field 2 was being harvested earlier, which was also sugar beets, also to the same elevator. So all of the excess from Field 2 went into fulfilling the first parts of Field 7. So now Field 7's excess is essentially Field 7 and Field 2's excess. Which it all works out to be exactly even. It's just weird how it ends up boiling down when you're doing the multiple contracts. And I wasn't actually sure how that would work. I had avoided taking contracts that were the same material to the same drop-off point. Because I wasn't sure how it was going to handle. So this time I took them kind of intentionally to see what that test result would be. And it worked perfectly. I'm happy about that. Alright, I cannot see if there are any more bales, but I have done multiple passes and I'm pretty sure I got them all. So we're good. Let's get out of here. Go ahead and drop the baler down right about... Yeah. Let's go get the stacker. So the only thing that can do better than the stacker, quantity-wise, is just straight up manually stacking them myself onto whatever trailer I can manage. That, however, is a lot of effort, and I don't know if I have that much skill, so I'm kind of okay with dealing with the stacker. Oh, hey, ScottyBot. Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, buddy? Kinda digging it. Kinda digging it. I'm also curious how it would look with just the eye as a different color, perhaps. And also potentially one of the outline colors. Just to have the TTI logo stand out a little bit more within the brain. Hi, kitty. Hello, kitty. Alright, I'm going to grab that. Yes, kitty. Hello, kitty. We're going to start this way. So I can grab the other one. Kitty, kitty. I think if we went with like more of a I don't know, a shade of gray. I can't quite tell what shade of gray would look good without overpowering. But if we went with the like the pinkish, juicy, reddish color brain colors, that might not be great. I'm curious how it would look in a couple different forms, yeah. Hello, demanding kitty. Yes, demanding kitty. Where are you? Hi, come on. Come on. I mean, I'm all about the synthetic blue. The more LED-like, the better. I'm just not sure how well it would stand out with the two other colors that are in there. I'm wondering which one's going to be more overpowering. Okay, okay, okay. You can have attention while I'm driving. There you go. Hello, kitty. Hello, kitty. It's really heavy to hold up with one arm. Hello, Mr. Worldeck. How you doing? Ooh, 14,000 harvest income. Where you go, kitty? Oh, bye, kitty. Oh. Hooray! Field 7 is done. Based on that name? No, I don't think I know who you are. Unless you are a regular who has changed your name yet again. Ooh, this tractor just barely has enough power to get this thing up the hill to the bale selling place. You were known as Ray. Let's see, other contracts that are done. Field 2 and 3, yeah, those can be done. Do you want to move the cultivator to either 5 or 11? Doesn't matter which. You were known as Ray. Give me more info. Give me more info, Ray. The new one, the new big old doohickey thingy. Ooh, pretty. I just noticed the color wheels. I like the pattern things. Raymond. I do remember a Raymond. And I will ask you to forgive me ahead of time because my memory is always garbage, so but I do remember a Raymond. Ooh, what colors do I want to try? I think let's start with Mackenzie's, like a soft brainy pinkish color. But I like that the pedal style color wheel. It's very pretty. I think if it's the right shade of pinkish, it should be all right. Okay. Did you make this up? Was this for a project that you had to do? Or are you just in the habit of making up random companies? Ah, gunsmith. Now that rings a little bit more of a bell. Well, welcome back, Raymond. Mr. World. Whatever you would like to call yourself right now. Hopefully you're not doing too much of that while you're flying. Although, to be fair, I do make up a lot of crap when I'm working. KSP lore. Okay. I can see it. I think I told you a little bit about the origins of TwinTac, which came morphed from the company that I made for Star Wars Galaxies. Okay. Basically, I had two characters in Star Wars Galaxies, and one of them was a fairly successful bounty hunter. I was one of the first few kills against the insurgents of the first Jedis that got created. But also I had a droid maker, and this was the early days of Star Wars Galaxies when droids were nothing more than decorative pets. But I built up the company and had droids pumping out for those who wanted decorative pets, and then all of a sudden they announced that they were going to have combat droids available, and I was in prime position because I was one of the few people who ever dedicated time to making droids. because they were just decorative pets and no one really cared all that much. So I was in prime position to corner the market of the combat droids when those came out, and I made bank, and I was basically the most famous droid maker on the server. I had a well decorated shop and everything. Had at least one model of each droid that I made on display in the shop. It was great. And the name of that company was Keytech Industries, because the main character's name was Kyoto, which is an odd character name, I am aware, but that's usually how character names are. So basically when it came time to naming myself for my online mess to Twin Mines, and I started playing games and whatnot, mostly to myself. I hadn't been streaming at the time. I just started playing a couple games that needed a company name for whatever I was making at the time. I don't even recall. But I had to make up something on the spot, and that just kind of stuck. Fair enough. I don't even remember if I told the whole story. I think I just told part of it. Kitten! Hello, kitten. Couldn't reach kitten in time. I missed. Oh dear. Don't end up in the drink, please. That'll be bad. Alright, I just realized it did reweed itself. Okay. So at some point I need to get up there with the weeder. And I don't think I want to do the regular weeder. I think I might want to do the big sprayer. I didn't see that you had asked to wear. Was that regarding the, yeah, okay. That's what I figured. I saw you were on that, so I'm pretty sure you figured that out. But yeah, we need to get 4 weeded. And then planted, which means we need to buy the actual planter. Are we sticking with corn for field 4? I think that was Nabara-chan's vote, and I don't think anyone else had anything else to say. Okay. biggest challenge right now is the surprising lack of tractors, actually. Because I normally have a whole bunch of spare tractors as I'm doing all sorts of odd jobs. So tell you what, let me pause here with the bale situation. Let me go do the spray situation instead. Because those weeds need to be gone. Okay, so this does have, this does have some weed killer in it, but not very much. So I'm gonna have to go pick some up. Pink is definitely hard. I was kind of thinking, more towards the salmon or rose, something a little bit more gentle. Come on, upright. There we go. I personally like magenta and hot pink for like shock value colors to stand out for certain reasons, but for specifically for the fill of the brain, I think the salmon or the rose might be good. And Mackenzie's thinking a little bit harder for pink. See, I was thinking really, really gentle, maybe even as low as flamingo. Or ballet slipper might be good. Not entirely sure those are the legit names, but I know they're close. First time you've worked with pink. All right. Well, glad to be your first, Amos. Kitten's doing things. So, funny story, actually, I forgot to mention this. Right, the only reason is right here, where that tree is. That's why it reminded me. I ran out of fuel. Wasn't paying attention. This tractor was off to the north doing things. And I ran out of fuel for the first time ever. So that is why. I passed it a couple times, but I've got the mobile repair trailer that can also hold fuel. I had to buy that and then bring it to this thing so that I can refuel and go. So now we've got the mobile repair truck if we need it. Infested weeds. Oh, I forgot. I missed a little tiny little section right here. Alright. Go, helper, go. So eventually, I will get a better sprayer. I still have my eye on the best sprayer, the Rubicon, because I just love it so much. It's really easy to work with. Kind of wanted to get this one as a mid-range, but I realized that by the time I could afford it and justify it, I might as well go all out. Especially with the 12 kph versus 25 kph. It just would be nice to be able to go faster and have the widest width. So eventually I'll get that. Eventually. It's going to take some time though. Alright, so this thing's killing weeds. I'm going to go ahead and buy the biggest planter. Yeah, just go ahead and buy the biggest planter. Be easier that way. Oddly enough, this has more storage space, but narrower working width. But that's fine. It's a shame you can't tack on something like this to expand this working width. Or working storage space, but that's okay. So we'll go ahead and buy the biggest planter. Get that out of the way. Other question. Okay. Just looking at the prices of the smaller tractors, because it'd be nice to have a couple smaller ones to work with eventually. Wait, you can actually recolor this fence? Oh. Between green and green. Great recoloring. Love it. And this one can just recolor the rims to either red or white. Okay. I really wish they had more recoloring options. And I get it. You know, you've got certain brand names that insist on having their specific colors. But it'd be really nice to be able to recolor more. Kind of like this one, actually. Just a little bit different styling. And it can be colored. Oh, I like that. So this is the Lintrack 90. Interesting. Got different wheel brands. It can even do double wheels. Interesting. That's kind of weird. It can do twin wheels, but one of them, this is the standard wheel size for the crop protection wheels. And it can't do crop protection wheels normally? That's kind of weird. And it's got the option for a front loader attacher, which is also nice. I'm not catching up on all of these different logos that are going in here. So many different logos. All right. So I see the vibrant blue logo. I see the vibrant pink and teal logo. And then we go down to the mostly pink and fuchsia logo. And then we've got the pink brain outline with the standard purple and teal. Kind of dig that. So Demos, what Mackenzie was talking about is actually filling the central transparent color areas. So where you normally would have all of that transparency, fill that with the pinkish color just to see how it looks. Rather than just like the outline of it. Now it kicks in. There it is. Otherwise, mediums are all right. So medium Valtra is not that bad price-wise. Just kind of thinking of more tractors to have around to do stuff. But price-wise, I can only afford a really small tractor currently. I'm not worried about that much. And then we are good to go. Okay. If I go to this, I doubt this has the power to pull. No, actually, this is a fairly powerful tractor overall. Oh dear, don't want to go that route. I'm gonna see if this can pull the bale stacker. See if we can get that going. Almost forgot where I left it parked for a moment there. Nailed it. Kitten, kitten, what are you doing? No, not push it. Pull it. I think the short answer is it can, but it probably shouldn't. We'll see how well it performs under a full load. At the very least, I can start getting stacked in here. I lured him. Hey, don't kick him. Spaz kitten. I know, the cars are painful. Okay, fine, we're skipping that road because I can't rotate, or I can't turn that hard. I think a different shade of pink is definitely needed on that one. He wants to play really badly. Squirmy kitty. Squirmy kitty. I'm fairly certain that second one is not a pink. Just saying. But I kind of like it. Or not the second one, the last one. Whatever the last one counts as, number-wise. Second to last one's not so bad, but that's slightly more dull pink. Although I think I'm still kind of leaning towards the transparent. But the problem with transparent is if you don't have a good background color to go with it, it's just going to end up absorbing whatever color's around it and then looking kind of weird. So I think it'd be good to figure out what colors it would work with on the transparent. You know, and I agree that the fill is probably too much, but if you're putting a transparent anything on any sort of background, it's going to take on that color. And if that color is not conducive to whatever else is in there, then it just ends up looking weird. Right, no, and I think it just needs to, I think it needs to have a fill, but I'm not sure what that fill should be. $14,000 in sold bales so far, and I don't know how many left are in there, but there are some left. Plus we have a bajillion more bales to sell that we've been holding on to. I really wish the soybeans would go ahead and hurry up. Wait, you're actually at home? Weird. Alright. So you've got a whole week of actually being home for the night? How's that feel? That doesn't sound like that happens too terribly often. There you go. That's good. Yeah, this tractor is not, I think this tractor is pretty much only going to be suited for fertilizing for the most part. And maybe some of the small work on 15 and 21 perhaps. I'm not entirely sure I want to keep either of those fields. I mean, 15's got the built-on chicken, so we're probably going to keep it regardless. But 21, I don't know, I think it's too far down and not really not really big enough anymore to accomplish much of anything, so I think once we get the trees off of there, I might sell that one. So this tractor could be just for fertilizer jobs and whatever work may need to be done on 15. How are we doing on 4, by the way? 4 is getting there. No, I don't think it has yet. Let me take a look. What growth level is it at? Well, it's at second or third tick, so yeah, it should definitely be fertilized again. Alright, so I think there's only these 4 bales left. 5 bales. Let's grab this one quick. Tank is empty. Okay. That unfortunately means it needs to be refilled. Any more bales? I think that's the last one. Yeah, I think that's the last one. Alright, so that's the last one on this field. I'm going to go stop by field 14 and pick up what I can. Now, I also do still have all of the bales I stacked over here to sell. Probably do that off stream. I'm not sure yet. Might have time to do it on stream. Got another hour or so left here. But we have other things to do as well, like making sure that field 4 is ready to go. Eventually we'll make it up the hill with the last one. There we go. Now, get out of here. Yeah, this will do. Perfect. Oh, there was a small change that I wanted to make that I wanted some opinions on before I did it. And Char, since this was your idea, you might want to have the stream up so you can see things. But in a little bit, I'll let you know when we're going to do that. Yay, Dougie? Little animal, what you talking about? I mean, we do have a doggy for sure, but yeah, unless you're seeing one that I'm not seeing, or just generally yaying dogs, or yaying Demos's dog, perhaps. That's also a thing. By the way, Demos, what kind of dog do you have? Ooh, Shepherd Husky mix, nice. I've seen Shepherd Husky mixes, those are usually gorgeous. $37 grand on that stack of bales, very nice. Runts need love too. Interesting. A deer-colored shepherd husky. Alright, so let's get this thing up the hill. Did it change it all? No. Okay, good. Interesting. I kind of like the, almost like a ruddy brown. Mackenzie, I'm going to take a wild guess and say you're having salmon? Gravy. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and park this here. Get fertilizer, get that done. You're getting fert? Okay. Bonk. Well, poop. Which, Which thingy are you using? The sprayer. The sprayer needs weed killer for the finishing off field 4. Okay, so you're getting the weed killer for field 4. I'm getting the fertilizer for field 15. Okay. Making sure we're on the same page. Oh, puppy. Sleepy puppy. Did you happen to set the cultivator on field 11? Perfect. Nine-month-old puppy. Do you know how big he's supposed to get? He said he's the runt, but I know both of those breeds tend to be pretty big. £80 is as big as he's supposed to get? Well, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's a pretty puppy. I like the black muzzle. Nice little contrast. I kind of miss having dogs sometimes. I had a black lab Springer mix quite a while back. She was a little bit neurotic, but that's okay. I loved her anyway. And then also grew up with a apricot colored standard poodle. Big old bugger. He was also about 80 pounds. Did I get it all? I got it all. Okay. I typically go with air just because it's easier to work with. I have a closed circuit liquid cooler on my GPU though, and that's not so bad. Oh, is 9900 going hot for some people, or just in general? Okay, good to know. Yeah, it sounded like we had similar age machines. I think yours was ever so slightly better than mine when we last compared. I also have a buddy who we ended up planning our rigs together, so we have the exact same hardware, which is interesting because our two machines have aged very differently. His is having all sorts of heating issues that he hasn't been able to track down. Mine's been running a little bit better, but he's also been overclocking his, so his is probably aging a little bit more poorly than mine. 9700K for air cooling, perfect. I do appreciate that information specifically, because air cooling versus liquid cooling, I know liquid cooling you can do some spectacular things, but it's a lot more of a hassle to set up, a lot more of a hassle to keep going, I think. Nice. That's also good to know. Now, can I fertilize this, or do I have to wait a little bit? I think I have to wait a little bit. Yep, gotta wait. Okay, so this is just gonna get parked right here. Most likely not. I'm actually close to the point of overclocking this one just to see if I can eke out a little bit more out of it, because it's probably going to be a while before I can fully afford to upgrade it. But the air cooler that I've got can handle at least a little bit more of overclocking. Okay, so that's going to go. What else was I going to do? Char's finishing the weeding. I think I'm going to pick up. Let's see, your E is doing that. Okay. So 11's going to take a while, I think, because 11, yeah, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and collect that. We do have Field 5 sowing that could be done now for another 20 grand. Field 2 sowing. Let's go ahead and rent the equipment on that one. This one we can use our own equipment. That one. Okay. Let me get a handle on these quick. Welcome back. So, did we only get one tractor for these two things? That's a little bit weird. Kind of weird. Oh, haha, haha, ha ha ha. The yellow and red one's mine. Bought that one. Forgot about that. So yes, only one tractor. So this one is for Field 5 soybeans, but I can also use it for Field 3 barley. So let's do that first. Get Field 3 out of the way since I didn't rent equipment for that. I did see the brains, actually. I'm kind of liking... tough call. I kind of like the... either the first or the third one backgrounds. Kind of like in the almost the neon bluish brain color in the background of the first one, but maybe on top of the pink and purple, or on top of the purple and teal. Let me see. Click on that. Clicky. Kind of like in the third one as well. I'm wondering if the third one, would look better with the background of the first one. Howdy, Doc. Welcome. Don't mind Discord. We're throwing out logo ideas. I think we need more seed. Let me get this thing pulled away a little bit so I can put the seeds down. Okay. Yeah, the @ thing worked across streams. Yep, Demos is giving me logo ideas. If something like Kerbals comes up again, where I have to do my own company within the game, definitely gonna put the Twin Tech logo in there. Just not sure which one yet. Aw, traffic. Traffic, no. Me go. Not you go, me go. Alright, so this is going to be barley on field 3. Perfect. Whoops. Too hard. There we go. Okay. Just gonna back out a little bit. Back out a little bit. No, train. Train bed. There we go. Oh, helper's still on buy seeds. Stop that helper. Why is Ylands being so punchable right now, Doc? Is it similar to your previous situation where you didn't have the right resources spawning on your first thing? We'll start with a short answer, and if I have follow-up questions, maybe we'll have to switch to the long answer. Oh no, that does sound frustrating. Will a kitten make it better? Oh, he's already purring. That's adorable. Hi. Hi. Flailing kitty. Flailing kitty. Hi. Can you hear the purr? Can you hear the purr? Baby kitty. So Doc, is it enough to make you throw it up in the air and just be done with it, or are you gonna muscle through? Fair enough. I can understand that. Checking work quick to make sure work hasn't blown up, because I'm now pretty much solely responsible for this thing now. Hey look, work didn't blow up. Hooray! That's right, Sparkles, you had your own ship troubles. That does sound very frustrating. Okay. So Char's still going on 11 with that cultivating mess. Sowing's happening on 3. And then we'll move to 5. 6 could use a spraying. We've got a thingy for that. Alright, so 6 is spraying. In fact, I think... Aren't there more weeds over here that I had to take care of? Yeah, there's just a little bit more weeds around here. Something that the worker missed. Might as well clean out these. Really? Missed one? I missed one friggin' weed. Damn you, weed! Okay, that's all that. Then I gotta go over the other side and clean up that just to have it done. I still don't know what's up with these dots here, but I don't think I can do anything about them, especially since I don't know what's up with them. But that'll be fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. And then 6 needs to be sprayed. 7 probably needs to be sprayed too, but I don't see a contract for that yet. Ah, that's just going to be cultivated out. Okay. Alright, contract on 3 finished. Let me stop that. Didn't really stop it in time, but that's fine. And then this moves over to 5 for soybeans. Yes, 5 for soybeans. Okay, so that's going to go for a little bit. I need to go back to this to finish this up. And I need to do... It's hard to tell because I don't actually see weeds. I'm not entirely sure this even matters, but we'll do it anyway. That's the trickiest bit, is I don't actually see weeds to target. Got it, I think. And this ultimately probably doesn't matter all that much, but it's going to bug me if I don't do it, so... There we go. There we go. So then this needs to move to field 6. Yes, just making sure. Okay, so field 6 is on the way. 11 still doing. And 4 needs to be planted, but I can't really do that until 11's done with its thing. Looks like field 3 can be fertilized. Take that for later. Don't need to worry about that right now. No good harvests to do. Okay. So Shar, how's it going? What you doing? Levin's doing badly. That's unfortunate. It's kind of floating. I understand. Kind of floating towards the end of the night as well. This is my first stream back in just shy of a week, so my brain is not all there, especially after the stress from the week. So I'm kind of mentally shot, not physically shot. I'm good physically. I was a little bit physically worn out after so much stress. But manager did come in on Saturday and bring us dilly bars, so that was good. Dilly bars is always a good way to placate me. Is there anything else we can work on? Let's see. 15 got its fertilizer. Actually, the bale stacker is parked right next to the animal dealer. Kind of, sort of. The red tractor should be able to handle that if you want to move some bales. Bale prices are good. Okay. So there's more bales to pick up next to the biogas plant. So whatever's left in 14, and then fill up the load on at the biogas plant, and then get those sold, I suppose. 11 just finished, actually, so let me go fix up 11. So we can go ahead and stop that worker. Get this thing folded up. No. Up. Fold. There we go. So 11 just finished, which means we can turn that in. Get more cash. Eventually, I'll probably want to do the 7 cultivation as well. That'll hold off for later. But next up is the field 2 sowing as well as field 4 sowing. So let's get this thing moved. We need to find a good place to park this because this is a beast. I don't know where yet. Do you got any ideas on where we should park the cultivator thing? Works for me. That's as good a place as any. It's central and it's big and wide open. Howdy, Joe Up. Been a while. Sucks that you can't sleep, but you're welcome here anyway. Come on. There we go. That's good. Alright, so now I gotta go grab my planter. Alright, payloads dropped. Let me take a look. Yeah, console updates do tend to be a little bit on the slow side. Console makers tend to like to have a little bit greater quality control, so it tends to go through a long, rigorous testing process. Dead Cells outfits. Interesting. I was kind of thinking as the main character being something that's very specifically designed, not someone who plays dress up. Alright, so we got a planter. We got seeds right there. Sure, why not? Alright, so first off, I think first I just want to do our field. Get that done. Which means I want a full stash of seed as well as fertilizer in this thing. Oh yeah, that can hold a lot more fertilizer. Okie dokie. That's fine. One more for good measure. Yeah, I actually don't know all that much about Dead Cells. I know it's kind of a Metroidvania style. Having a hard time getting this one, so I'm just going to drive it this way. There we go. Alright, so let's get this thing on field 4 and get field 4 started. We're doing corn, it's already selected. Now hopefully, by the time this cornfield grows, my next plan is to buy the big harvester with the corn header. And we're sticking with the pink and black, because that looked really awesome. So hopefully we'll have another 400 grand by then. Maybe the soybeans will pop in price. Getting there. Bales stacked. Are you going to go sell those bales, or just drop them somewhere? They are sold at the barn, which is south central of the map. So, Joe Up, you want to dress like a puppet? Seems kind of weird. I'm going to assume that the puppet is badass looking. Okay, did not make it. The articulation is actually kind of sort of difficult to drive. At least difficult to manage. Alright, let's get this thing down. So that's going. We've got corn being planted currently. And then Jay's still doing its thing. Did this finish? Did not finish because it ran out of spray. Alright, just gonna go and get more spray. Because I don't have an easy way to turn on just the buying option for that one. Alright, that is fertilizer, or that's a weed killer. Perfect. I don't think I need much more, but let's go ahead and do one more. Alright, so this needs to finish up 6. And it can just be parked as is, because I think it's mostly going to be used for weed killer. I think. At least until we get the bigger one. It might end up being used for bigger scale fertilizing for Field 4, but fertilizing's easy enough and fast enough with the solid sprayers. That's not too big of a deal. Okay, let's see where it's needed. Hooray! Alright, so this will be the last stripe on here. There's that little piece there, but it doesn't matter. We'll finish the percentage-wise before it's ever an issue. Let's see. So that's going. Might eventually have to trigger that to buy seed and fertilizer, depending on how quickly they run out, because that thing did not actually have that big of a tank. Surprisingly enough, I was kind of expecting the tank to be a little bit bigger on that. There we go. There's 6 finished. So we'll go ahead and get this folded up, and I think this is actually going to get parked by the fertilizer as well. Kind of eventually planning on buying Field 12 and making it into, at the very least, half of it into potential animals and other farm buildings as needed. So more actual parking spots. But for right now, we'll park nearby. Okay, so that's going. 11's did. 7 can be cultivated eventually. 5 is in the middle of being sown. Sowed. Whatever. Let's see. 3 is fertilizer I was going to do later. 13 can be fertilizer later. 12 can be fertilizer later. 8 fertilizer later. We do have sugar beets on 10 to be harvested. Borrow that one. That button, there we go. Sugar beets on 10, sure, borrow that. Okay. Got some work lined up for myself. Let's see about getting at least some of that started. Another thing I wanted to buy. So I've got my Roadrunner here, which I forgot to actually click the button on. Got my Roadrunner here, and this trailer is awesome. However, the trailer does not tackle some of the root vegetables and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to buy the trailer for that. We have this trailer here, which is named the appropriately named ass trailer. It's 48,000 storage. But this is probably more likely the one I'm going to get is the 59,000. I think I just want to buy it outright so we can do at least a little bit better shipping on some of the jobs that come up. So I think I will do that. Because the trailers that they end up giving us tend to not be the spectacular ones. These are, it's usually this one, the 48,000. It'd be nice to do it at least a little bit faster with the 59. So I think I'll just go ahead and buy that one. I don't think the tire width matters all that much on these. So we'll go ahead and do regular. Oops. Regular old tires, buy, and if I need to update that, I can later. And that will be instead of this white tractor and that little trailer next to it. Because that little white tractor most likely won't get the job done. I mean, it can. It will do, but it won't do very well. That tractor will not have the pull power needed for all the beats. So we need to drop the beats a little bit more effectively. So this is going to 10, I believe. Beats, yes. This is going to 10. Let's get this over to 10. Get this thing unfolded. Unfurled. So many different things moving. I love the modeling on these, by the way. Just very, very highly detailed. All the little moving parts are lovely to watch. What's the inside of this bugger look like? Couple little cameras. Unfortunately, it looks like those cameras are not live. They look like they're static images, but that's fine. And a nicely lit control panel there. The mirrors are live. The mirrors work. But unfortunately, the cameras do not. That's sad. A little bit janky there. Calm down, buddy. Alright, so that's just going to get going. We're not going to do anything else with that tonight, I don't think. Just want to get everything in place. Now that is a hell of a seating platform. Alright, so we need seed for this one. And this one is going to sewing 11. Or is it sewing 5? No, sewing 5 is going sewing 11. And sewing 11 is doing oats. Okay. Oats. Got it. Okay, so we got some seed. This thing can store, looks like about 5,000. Perfect. Whoops. Ran into my own shit. Whoops, that was fertilizer. Oh well. More seed? Nope, seed done. Okay. I have to review them all. There was a lot going on. So I will have to review them all at a later time and see which ones stick out to me. Just about 50 different logos that got pasted. I'm gonna have to review them and see what I really like. Curious what this thing looks like unfolded. Oh. Okay. Not bad. I like it. It's kind of a neat unfolding mechanism. Ah, KSP flags. Wake up. There we go. I never actually did do a custom KSP flag. I just kept going with the existing ones. But I also doubt I will be going back to KSP anytime soon. Maybe eventually, but definitely KSP'd out a little bit. We're on fruit type. Thought we were oating on field 5. We're oating on field 11. Haha! Yeah. That is correct, Doc. Now, can I get across without folding? I think the answer is no. No. No is the answer to that very thoroughly. Oh, I streamed a good 100+ hours of KSP. So I did my due diligence, I think. Mostly, honestly, got burnt out of all the different mods that kept getting corrupted after every single version update. And when you have a rocket that is made almost entirely of modded parts and all of your work goes kaput, it was very frustrating. get this on the right field. Thank you very much. Hooray! 21's done. 21's max for it. Yeah. Helper I tank is empty. Which one was Helper I again? Kind of forgot which one Helper I was. To be fair, I wasn't really paying attention to the letters. Fair enough, Char. We've been doing this for a little bit longer than the actual stream itself. I get it. I'm actually getting close to ending the stream here myself anyway, so thank you for all of your help, as usual. Okie dokie. I'm probably going to stream something else tomorrow, but I'm not positive yet. We'll see. We'll probably Discord vote that or something. Okay, so Helper I was this. Okay. Got it. It needs more seeds. I will have to finish that at a later time, I think. H is going. That'll also probably run out of seeds. I might set them both on buying seeds at some point. In fact, no, you've got plenty of seeds. You're fine. It's just that planter that doesn't have very much in the way of seeds. We'll figure something else out. Going for like real ramen? That'd be kind of sweet. Real ramen. I have never once had real ramen, actually. Just the packaged stuff. I probably have a place around here that could do real ramen. It's just that I'm not much of a foodie, so there's that problem. Yeah, the Twin Cities area in Minnesota is pretty good for food, actually, or so I have been told, since I'm not a foodie myself. We got quite a lot going on food-wise. Yep, I've been told I have to do Giordano's. Haven't done it yet. I've been told I have to. Hell of a bump. I mean, that is a glowing review on its own. And I have been craving a good pizza. Contract 5 finished. So we'll go ahead and stop you then. Demos is over there losing his shit over potential pizza. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's an 18-wheeler that's used to doing dirty work. By the way, we do have something that I don't know if it's visible here. No, not so much. I actually have a mod for the real colored dirt, but all the dirt that we've got so far is just dirt. So, but if you're running over a field that's been limed, for example, the dirt will start turning white. If you're doing mowing, your dirt colors will be green. So it's a nice little minor addition. Meow. Yeah, so that's good. That's good. All right. I've got plenty more projects to do, plenty more jobs to keep me busy between streams and whatnot. But for right now, I think I will end it a little bit earlier than usual. First day back, gotta pace myself. And I should probably try to sleep so I can be up for tomorrow. So that will be it for tonight, I think. Save. Yeah. Yeah. So Mackenzie, Demos, Sparkles, thank you all for coming. Doc, if you're still out there, thank you as well. Joop, maybe you're still out there. I will enjoy looking at the 50+ designs, and thank you for the effort so far, Demos. So yes, anyone else who may or may not be out there, thank you all for coming. Thank you for any subs and follows that I might have missed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!